TK Law presents a Habeas, Mentem, Media, Cinematic production.
What? How in the world did this happen? 10,247 recipients. A scheduling email, sent without review. There was no checkpoint. The orchestrator never paused. The damage is done. How do we make sure this never happens again?
It's really, unfortunate. The architecture, it had no handoff review, Your Honor. Nobody was asked to pause. But I know someone who builds systems that do. I'm going to call Mende-steampunk right now.
We have to clean up this mess right away.
Okay, will do. I will provide an update as soon as possible. Goodbye. Hello, Mende-steampunk. It's me again. How you doing?
Hi, Barnaby Cogsworth. I'm well, thanks for asking. You know how it goes. The prompts are prompting.
I know you're busy, so I will just get right to it. Judge Crypto sent out over 10,000 scheduling emails to the wrong recipients. Obviously. Can you execute a contain, audit, fix, and prevent protocol?
Oh, wow. No worries. I'm headed to TK Law AI Lab to update DigitalRAS with a synaptic silencing module. It audits what the model was trained on and what is encoded in its weights before the model is deployed into any client-facing workflow. DigitalRAS already engineers selective continuation, the pause built into the architecture, and a cryptographic compliance ledger. Now it adds synaptic silencing. Looks like selective continuation is just the type of pause you need. Let's close the gap. I have a renewing your mind kind of vibe today. If you know, you know. Docking. Now I'll initiate an update for DigitalRAS. Cueing the soundtrack. Sonic focus mode. I'm syncing my workflow.
Before we show you what she is updating, a word about why you are watching this at all. Most AI errors are invisible until they are not. This illustrated codex makes them visible before they become irreversible. If your AI system caused harm, opposing counsel would ask 3 questions in discovery. Was this specific action reviewed by a human before it was executed? Which regulatory obligations governed this specific action at the moment of execution? When the action was executed, did the model drift beyond its conformity assessment baseline? These are the design requirements this architecture was built to answer. Most enterprises cannot answer these questions at the action level today. They have governance dashboards and policy documents. They do not have a per-action compliance record built to survive the moment the file reaches legal counsel. This illustrated codex shows you the architecture designed to produce that record. Not a dashboard, a ledger. A demo is coming, but a demo cannot show you why it was built the way it was built. The architectural decisions that produced it, the neuroscience that named the failure modes, the legal framework that connected them to specific regulatory obligations, the invitation from an ancient text that unlocked the first module. A demo shows you the output. This illustrated codex shows you the reasoning. For the engineer, this is the system design document written for a human brain. For the GC, this is the fact pattern and the liability chain. For the CEO, this is the story of where the market is going and who designed for it. For the board, this is the evidence that the oversight architecture was built from first principles, not assembled. The invitation that unlocked the first module came from Romans 12:2. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Not the contents of the mind, the architecture. That invitation led to neuroscience. Neuroscience led to compliance. This is what Curiosity built. Module 1. The Synaptic Silencing Audit. DigitalRAS engineers the Synaptic Silencing Audit, documenting what the model was trained on and what is encoded in its weights, generating the baseline record that later answers whether drift originated in pre-training or in the enterprise's own fine-tuning. Large language models are trained on vast amounts of data. Every pattern in that data leaves a statistical trace in the model's weights. The accurate and the fabricated, the legally precise and the legally toxic. All of them present. All of them capable of influencing outputs. Yes, even enterprise deployments. Fine-tuning shapes how the base model's weight distribution influences outputs. For most enterprise deployments, it does not modify the base model's weights at all. The pre-training distribution remains. RAG grounds the outputs, but does not touch the weights underneath. Neither removes what was already there. The exception your counsel is about to raise does not escape this argument. The Synaptic Silencing Audit identifies which patterns should be examined. It documents what was trained into the model. It establishes the baseline against which drift is later measured. The audited architecture is a documented architecture. The model's baseline is on record. Each action has an established baseline. An unexamined model cannot be governed, not by lawyers, not by compliance teams, not by boards. You cannot hold a model accountable for what it was never asked to remove. Module 1. It asks. The audit is the record. The record is the defense. Compliance platforms check boxes. The EU AI Act checks actions. When a multi-agent system delegates, human oversight disappears into the handoff. Over 10,000 recipients, one action, no review. The email went out. Nobody reviewed it. The damage was done. There was no checkpoint. Module 2. The Selective Continuation Engine. DigitalRAS engineers selective continuation into the chain. Before an irreversible action clears, the architecture holds it. One action held, 4 proceeding. The chain does not break. The oversight does not disappear. Hold the pause. Let the chain move. The other 4 agents run. One waits for human review. Most systems show compliance as a status, green or red, pass or fail. This shows you compliance as a decision made in real time, at the action level, before the action clears. Module 2 answers the first question opposing counsel will ask. Was this specific action reviewed by a human before it executed? Yes. Here is the record. Modules 3 and 4. The Dynamic Per-Action Jurisdiction Profile. The Capability to Regulation Mapper. DigitalRAS engineers jurisdiction conflict analysis at the action level. Before the action clears, it knows which laws apply. Does this action break compliance in any jurisdiction we operate in? EU says one thing, US says another. Singapore says a third. DigitalRAS flags the conflict before the action clears. Most discover jurisdiction conflicts too late, in discovery, filings, or litigation. This is the architecture that surfaces them in time. DigitalRAS maps every regulatory obligation triggered by this action. Which laws does this action trigger? Not which laws govern the system. Which laws govern this action, right now, in this chain? GDPR, DSA, CRA, NIS2. 4 instruments, 1 agent, 1 moment. Your legal team can tell you which laws govern your AI system. No existing tool can tell you which laws govern this action at this moment, until now. This answers the second question opposing counsel will ask. Which regulatory obligations govern this action at the moment it executed? These obligations. Here is the record. Module 5. The Drift to Reassessment Engine. DigitalRAS engineers drift detection at the behavioral level, monitoring outputs against the pre-deployment baseline. What you are seeing on screen is not an error in the production. It is the error in most enterprise models. This is behavioral drift, raw output from a model never audited before deployment. Not malfunction, hallucination. When behavioral drift crosses the Article 323 threshold, DigitalRAS does not send an alert. It generates the document. The document a compliance officer hands to legal counsel. Did the model drift beyond its conformity assessment baseline when the action was executed? That is the third question opposing counsel will ask. Here is the evaluation. Here is the record. The compliance ledger. DigitalRAS, a ledger, not a dashboard. Every action, every regulation, every moment. Documented. Per action, per jurisdiction, per moment. The update is complete. The Synaptic silencing audit examined what the model was trained on. The selective continuation engine held the pause. The jurisdiction profile named the law governing this action. The capability to regulation mapper connected the action to the law. The drift engine generated the document. The ledger recorded it all. 5 modules, 1 architecture, 3 questions, 1 record. This has been an illustrated codex. Math rendered in pixels. Pictorial prose. DigitalRAS was built by a lawyer. Lawyers are closest to the problems ungoverned AI causes in the legal field. That proximity is not a credential, it is a responsibility. When the judges' chambers, the courtrooms, and the canons of professional conduct run on code, someone must translate what the architecture is doing, in plain language, with receipts. This is for the legal creatives, the translators of engineering concepts through art. The I need a visual crew. You know who you are. The architecture holds.
I'm a fool enjoy my